Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Margarita and today I'm here to bring you my July wrap up. Sorry I look a little bit crazy. I just got home from work. I've been trying to film this video for the past 20 minutes and so far it just hasn't been working. My dad walked in. I mean, it's just all kinds of madness. So if I look a little flustered, it's because I am. Anyway, I really just wanted to post a video for you guys because I did not get a chance to last week. Everything I filmed was just not worth watching, and I didn't want to watch it, so I didn't want to make you guys have to watch it. So I'm just gonna jump in, hopefully be able to just get through all this. If I stutter, if I say anything a little weird, I might just keep going. So please just bear with me. So the first book that I read is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I really did like this book. This book takes place in the 20s. It follows Evie O'Neill, who is our main character, and she has these special powers and they get her in trouble and she's sent to live with her uncle in New York until things cool down at home. And her uncle is in charge of the occult museum. The museum is of creepy crawlies, as the people in New York call it, and there are these string of mysterious murders that start happening that the police think might have something to do with some weird occult thing. So they go to her uncle for help. And Evie, being the type of person that she is, decides that she's going to help her uncle with the investigation. So that's basically what gets this whole thing started. And it's really, really good. I did really enjoy this book. I don't really know what's going to happen in the second book, but I'm excited to pick it up and figure out what's going to happen then. My biggest complaint with this book would be the way Evie spoke. It just didn't seem natural. It didn't seem realistic. I know that people in the 20s talk differently from us. Obviously, they had different sayings and things like that, but I feel like Evie just wasn't an authentic character when she talked, because everything was the bee's knees and the cat's meow and all these other things, and it's like that it's just a little too over the top, and she just didn't seem like an authentic person because of that. So I didn't really like her, and she's kind of the main character, so you kind of should like her. But I did like this book, and like I said, I am excited to read the second book. I'm excited to see where this story goes, and I will let you guys know when I do that. The next book that I read is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. This is a young adult horror novel, and what really captured me was the very first sentence in the first part, the synopsis. That's the word for it. Anyway, it says, Brooklyn Stevens sits in a pool of her own blood, tied up and gagged. And I was like, wow, that escalated quickly. How did that happen? So I really wanted to read this book and figure out what happened. So this story follows Sophia Flores, and she's the new girl in this school, and she befriends these three girls and kind of this other girl, Brooklyn. Is her name Brooklyn? I just read that, I should know. She kind of befriends Brooklyn a little bit. Anyway, so these three girls that she is the main friends with, they're basically the mean girls of the school, and they hate Brooklyn. They really do. And the head of the girls has decided that Brooklyn is possessed by a demon, and she needs to have an exorcism performed on her to save her soul because she's possessed. So that's where this book, basically, that's its jumping off point. And I felt like I was reading Mean Girls, but with religious undertones. And is someone possessed? Are they not? You don't know. Oh my gosh, how will we figure this out? And you find out in the end, obviously. But honestly, the ending was my favorite part, because that's when things actually started happening. In the middle, I mean, when they're trying to exorcise her, it's just like, okay, some of you people need to grow a spine. Grow a freaking backbone, stand up to this person, because you don't like what she's doing. Why are you going along with it? It just didn't really make sense why they were. And I don't know, it wasn't really for me. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It did its job. It entertained me while I was reading it, but by no means was I blown away. By no means am I going to read the sequel that I hear is coming out. Not interested. No. I'm probably actually going to get rid of that book, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, I don't see myself rereading it ever. But it wasn't bad. Read it for yourself. Form your own opinions. Anyway, the next book that I read is Tender Morsels by Margot Lanigan. This is supposed to be a dark, twisted, fairy tale-esque story. It follows Liga and her two daughters, Erda and Bronza. And Liga's life is complete shit in the beginning of this book until she finds this safe place to raise her daughters and to live out her life. And there were parts of this book that I didn't see why they had to be in there. There were parts that were like sexual parts of this book that I was like, why is this even in here? And then when I read the end, I was like, this didn't even matter. Like, that didn't even matter in the scheme of this book. In the very, very beginning, there are some sexual things that happen that make sense because it gives you the rest of the story. It has this baseline for the rest of the story. But once you're past those first couple chapters, nothing else had to be sexual, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. I see why people do like this. I'm just not one of them. It was not for me. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars because I can see why people like it, but I did not like it. It's more like a 2 out of 5 stars for me. I hated her daughter Erda. She's so self-centered. She's the brattiest, most, oh, I know everything, mom. Like, you are just stupid and me. And I never really got the sense that she cared for her family. Like, even in the end, I was like, you don't give a shit about your mom. And she's one of those people that's like, Mom, please, I can handle anything you have. Your life isn't that bad. And her mom is trying to shield her from incredibly painful and horrific things that made me cringe while I was reading them. She's trying to shield her daughter from that, and her daughter's just such a bitch. She won't let it go. I hate Erda. Erda is one of the worst characters I have ever read. One of the worst. Probably the worst being Angel from Thomas Hardy, Tessa of the Umbervilles. Erda's a very close second. I hate her. She's awful. And the ending, I'm so mad what happened to Liga in the end, because I can't deal with it. I did not really like this book. Not for me. Anyway, on to happier topics. I read a book that I absolutely loved, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I picked this up originally because I heard the second book was so great, so I wanted to read the first one so I could eventually pick up the second book. This follows Feyre, who is a human, and she kills a wolf that she thinks is just a regular wolf, but surprise, it's a fairy. And someone comes seeking retribution for this death, and the humans and the Fae do not have a good relationship. The Fae used to keep humans as slaves, so there's no trust between these two characters. The Fae that comes to take her is Tamlin, and he takes her to his court, and it's basically the story from there. And it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I'm sure all of you already know that. I really did enjoy this book. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. Not much more to say about that than I really, really liked it. So the next book I read, finished, because I actually picked this book up before Court of Thorns and Roses, but that one sucked me in. I started reading The Shock of the Fall, and I forced myself to finish this book after I read that before I read anything else, because I was already over halfway done. And this follows Matthew Holmes and how he copes with the loss of his brother, and how he feels responsible for the loss of his brother when they were young, and basically his descent into a mental illness. And it's beautiful. It is a wonderful book. It's told from his perspective, obviously. I didn't have to say that. But he's basically writing a book in this story. Like, that's how it's presented. He's writing a book for people to read, so he can tell his story and how he feels. And it's just beautiful. You should read it. I really liked it. So I next went to the library and picked up A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, the second book, and I absolutely loved it. This one this one was good. This one was like a million times better. I don't know how she did it. If I could give 10 out of 10 stars, I would give this 10 out of 10 stars. Like, leaps and bounds above the other one. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling. I can't really talk too much about it, but it follows the events from Under the Mountain. That's all I'm gonna say. And what I really liked in this, besides, you know, the story, is that it discusses PTSD and all the characters and how they deal with what happened to them in the last book, which is not usually something that is discussed, especially in fantasy. I mean, people go through these epic quests and they do these awful things, or they do these things that, you know, normal people can't do, but they never deal with it because they're perfectly fine. That's not the case in this book, and I thought that was really nice and refreshing to read, that, you know, all these people, no matter whether they're powerful or not as powerful, they're all trying to come to terms with what has happened to them. Love this book. I can't wait to read the next one. Like, I'm actually mad that I read this before it came out, because before the third one came out, because I wish I could have just binge read them. You need to publish the next one now, please, Sarah J. Maas, because I need it in my life. I love fae stories and I love retelling, so she's just combining two of the things that I absolutely love into one story, and I need more. But have you guys heard that it's supposed to be like an 8-book series? I saw that on Goodreads and I don't understand that. Can we just keep it a trilogy? It's besides the point. Anyway, we're almost done. 3 more things to go. So the next thing I read is Saga Volume 1 by Brian Vaughan and Fiona Staples. This follows our 2 main characters and their kid. They're fugitives. These 2 races hate each other. There's this epic war going on between these 2 races, and they fell in love and had a kid. Because that's, how else are you gonna get a story started? I really liked this. I will definitely go out, pick up the next volumes, and read them. I liked it. It was good. What more do you need? The drawings are fantastic. Like, look at this crazy, she's not a snake, spider lady. Like, the colors are gorgeous. Pick it up if you haven't. You probably have, though, because I'm really late onto all these trains, but read it. The next book that I read is A Cold Legacy by Megan Shepherd. This is the 3rd and final book in the Madman's Daughter trilogy. It's a trilogy that I love. I'm not going to lie, I really love this. I didn't have as many issues with this one as I did with the first one, because the science was a lot more sound in this one than the first one, but I still loved the first one. I gave this 5. I stopped telling you guys the star ratings. If you want to know, I'll leave my Goodreads thing down below. I'm sorry. Whoosh, I told you, I'm just a mess. Anyway, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I really like this book. This is a Frankenstein retelling. It follows our same cast of characters. I can't tell you where they are because that would ruin the first 2 books, but really good. I have to admit, I was shocked by her decision at the very end. If I had been in the same position as her, I don't think I would have been able to make the right decision. The decision that she made, I wouldn't have been able to do it. If I were in her shoes, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But lots of character development when it comes to her, and learning who she is, and that she is her own person. She does not have to be what society thinks she is, or even who she thought that she might be. She can be whoever she wants to be. You go, girl. Anyway, so the last book, I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to start telling you guys now that there's 1 book left. So the last book that I read is Wink Poppy Midnight by April Genevieve Tcholk. This cover is beautiful. That is the main reason I picked this up. I'm not going to lie. But it also said, you know, every story needs a hero, every story needs a villain. I was like, alright, let's see where this story goes. I gave this book a 2 out of 5 stars. I did not like it. It follows our main characters, Wink, Poppy, and Midnight, and it's kind of like this love triangle thing, maybe. And you think you know who the good guy and who the bad guy is, but then it's like, oh no, maybe you're wrong. This book felt like such a waste of time, to be perfectly honest with you guys. At the end, I was like, okay, what was the purpose of this story? This story left me with nothing. Nothing. I mean, I just didn't like it. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars. It just, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you guys about this. I don't even know how to tell you what the book is about. Like, that's how much I was like. So I'll just leave you with that, because I don't know. I did not like that book though. And I'm so disappointed because the cover's so beautiful and the inside was such trash. And she wrote another book that I really wanted to read. I didn't know it was the same person. What is it? Between the... I don't know. But she wrote another book that I was actually going to pick up and read. But after reading this, probably not. I'm just not particularly impressed with her writing style. Especially, I don't know what's with her and repeating things 3 times. I don't need to read the same word 3 times in a row with every person, every page. I don't need that in my life. Can you tell I didn't like that book? Anyway, so I read 9 things. I liked a good majority of them. Some of them were flops, but that's fine. Let me know down below what you guys read in July, and thank you for putting up with me for this outrageously long video. And I will see you guys soon with an August TBR once I figure out what the heck I want to read for August, because right now I'm kind of in a reading slump. That last book left a bad taste in my mouth. I kind of don't want to read anything. So I will see you guys soon. Bye.